What is up, ladies and gentlemen? So excited to be back with y'all. I feel like that I have missed everyone forever, Stacy.
I know. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. Between travel with the family and then coming right back and then going on a conference, it's been wild. But welcome, y'all. Welcome to Tampa Bay Q&A. Tonight, we're going to be talking about some really cool topics. We're going to be talking about is Tampa, are they growing the new talent for Hollywood? And Stacy, there's some movies being made here, and one of them is about to launch this weekend. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about buyers having the upper hand in the real estate market right now. It is a very interesting world. Stacy will give us all the lowdown on that, y'all. We'll get to that as we get rocking and rolling this evening. And there's some cool things happening in around town. A really cool restaurant that Kate and I love was shouted out by a famous actress out in LA. And I think it's just really cool props to see that stuff happen here locally, and excited to share that with you guys. But if you've never joined us before, what we want you to know is this is interactive. We try to do our best to communicate with you directly, not just by sharing what's happening in and around town here in the greater Tampa Bay area, but by also directly connecting with you through the chat. So if you have questions or comments, feel free to connect. There's an entire community of people who come here every Tuesday at 7, except for when I take a vacation. And they're one of the most welcoming groups that you'll ever find. So we invite you to that chat. Let us know where you're watching from. That's a huge win for us. And like I said, any questions or comments, feel free to put them in. We try to get to questions in real time during the show. Neither Stacy or myself are Chat GPT, so we don't know everything like it does, but we do know Tampa Bay really well, and we love sharing it with y'all. So happy to connect with you guys there. And I know that Stacy's got some really cool stuff for us this evening as well, talking about what's going on Wesley Chapel. But let me just clear the space here and welcome our hostess with the mostest, who has been out just serving families wildly the entire time I was gone. I come back yesterday and I got notification that Stacy helped 2 more families find their Florida home yesterday. So this woman's very active and out on the market. But good evening, Stacy.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be back and so happy I was able to help some families get under contract this weekend and got some good deals. So that's always fun.
And it's a Taco Tuesday, and I haven't heard from the cooks yet. And there's probably a reason why, Stacy. Why haven't we heard from the cooks?
They are moving into their new house, but Brian said he would be listening. He would be on.
It's all good.
The first time in his new home, he said
I did not expect them to be with us this evening, but we wanted to say congratulations to the cooks. What an awesome experience for, just working with that family has been amazing. Stacey's done an excellent job, but getting messages from Brian about, getting in the house there. So I'm sure they're hanging the television and doing the thing as we speak, and couldn't be happier for you guys. So welcome. Awesome. Okay, Stacy, let's get into some stuff. I want to start with heading up to Wesley Chapel. Oh, let me say hello to everybody first. I've been out of the mix here. Forgive me, y'all. I need an assistant on this. Stacy refuses to do it because she doesn't want any part of the tech.
I had a hard time getting my camera turned on tonight. So
yeah. So, and I understand this. This is okay. All right, that's all good. Miss Jane has arrived in Florida, y'all. Yeah.
All right. Welcome to Florida, Jane.
Yeah, I know, right? See, I'd hit that applause button if I still had it, but I don't have that anymore. But she's with us here. We got Keith here today as well. What's up, Keith? Good to see you, my brother. We've got Jane says, my San Diego house is in escrow right now. That's another good news there.
Congratulations.
Shout out to that. Hope it will go through. Absolutely. We hope for you as well. Keith's giving you a fingers crossed. You got a shout out from Carol, says that's great news, Jane. And then we got Desiree with a happy Taco Tuesday. Good evening, my lady. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. She's got a congrats for Jane also. And then Keith says from Sheffield Village out in Ohio, the west suburbs of Cleveland. Shout out to Ohio State. God, that hurts to say that, but y'all played a great game. They played a great game and they won, Stacy. So I got to give credit where it's due.
I heard. You heard they won.
Yeah, they did. All right. So talk to us. You got some cool stuff happening up in Wesley Chapel. Then I know you wanted to share. So talk to me about what you got going on.
Yeah, so there's a new little, I guess you could call it a town center that's opening up in Wesley Chapel. It's going to be kind of like the hub at Bexley. It's by the same developer, but in front of Lexington Oaks, which is right off of I-75, like the west side on Wesley Chapel Boulevard, there's going to be a new little center with restaurants and things to do. So they just signed, or they just announced the 13 new tenants that's going to be going in there. And it's a 40,000 square feet commercial space.
Yeah. So for reference, I was pulling up the map as you were talking through that, Stacy. Help us understand what we're looking at here really quick. Let me just zoom out really fast and show you guys. This is Tampa at the bottom here. And then this is Wesley Chapel, San Antonio, Zephyr Hills, this area here that she's talking about, Land O'Lakes to the west of that. So this is the area here. But what are we looking at, Stacy?
Yeah. So 9. What you want to talk about the location?
Yeah. Let's talk about the location from a drive time perspective to downtown Tampa from here, on a clean day. I'm not talking about accidents and wildfires, even though we don't have those. But on a clean day, what are we looking at? 40 minutes downtown? 50?
During rush hour, I'm going to say it's taking you 50 minutes.
Oh, yeah. During peak drive times for sure. But if you're not driving peak drive times,
you're like 35, 40 minutes to the airport.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't do it during rush hour. That's what we're trying to get at here.
Right.
But yeah. Awesome. I just wanted to share the location. All right. So we've got how many restaurants named so far? 13 confirmed tenants is what it says.
Yeah. So 9 of the places are like local and regional restaurants. So that's really cool. There's a restaurant called Brew Bar Self Pour, which, have you heard of that before? There's another location.
No, but that reminds me of what's the pizza place that dear Marsha loved to go to all the time with the fun guy? They have
no, I don't remember the name of it, but
in that
the river.
The reason I was calling that place up is they've got the wristbands where you go up to the taps, you tap your wristband, and it charges your card, and you get charged per ounce for the beer.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so it's the same. I think it's the same thing, right?
I don't know. I'll have to go check it out.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, but what's interesting is that they are sharing a space with an Urban Crunch Creamery Cafe.
Yep.
So I'm not sure how they're going to have wine, beer, ice cream, acai bowls, coffee.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You're like, this is delicious.
But there's a Urban Crunch Creamery Cafe in Odessa, which I hadn't heard of. But a lot of these places are already opened around the Tampa area. So then there's another restaurant called La Creacion.
Yep. The bistro.
Yep. And they're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now there's another like sister restaurant at the Crates.
Yeah.
But they're going to have a totally different menu.
Okay. Got it.
Yep.
Understood.
And then there's a restaurant. There's one in Valrico, and it's coming to Wesley Chapel called the Landing Bar and Grill. And then there's some interesting stuff here. There's going to be a Monk's Indian fusion cuisine.
Yep.
So it's going to combine flavors of India and China.
The Cinnaholic looks interesting.
Yeah, that's gourmet cinnamon rolls. Like, you're going to gain like 10 pounds just talking about all this.
That sounds like a plan for me. I've been on that show all winter long last year. That was something else. You got Saigon pho. It's not po, it's pho, y'all, just so you know. Like pho real. Yeah. I saw the Island Grill. What's Farmer's Milk?
It's a cafe and bakery.
Okay. All right. Looks like you got a barbershop there as well. That's pretty cool. And just to give people, I'm trying to find like the hub at Bexley. Let me go over to the Land O'Lakes site so you guys can see in real time what this looks like. So there's already one of these, Stacy. Explain to them where the other one is.
The other one is in Land O'Lakes, which is just about north of here. It's right off the Suncoast Parkway. And that's a great location as well.
Yeah. It's right at the Bexley neighborhood there, right? Which is awesome. Mm-hmm. So you drive out of the neighborhood, you drive down the street. There's a Publix just past this, but you get the Bella Brava Italian restaurant there. There's a brewery there. I think there's a Chipotle in that area too. It's not in that specific thing. It's it's like on the front end of it, but like there were so many things down there. Nail salon, barbershop in this one as well, and a taco bus, which was fantastic as well. So like there's a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm showing you guys this because so you can see what is coming. It's not quite opened yet. What was the plans for opening, Stacy?
They didn't say, just coming soon.
All right.
But what's going to make this one different than the one at Bexley is that they're going to have something called the Clubhouse, and it's going to be a golf simulation experience. So they're going to have 6 golf simulators and a putting green.
Okay, very nice. Similar to, it sounds to me like X Golf, except X Golf didn't have a putting green, I don't think.
Yeah.
So that's
and
cool.
They're going to have PGA teaching pros there too.
Wow.
I know, right? My husband's going to love this. I can already tell you.
Oh, we know where the money's going.
Because he loves Pop Stroke, so you know he's going to love this.
Yep, absolutely. Not open yet, Jane. We're working on it. Bexley in Land O'Lakes is, though.
Yes.
So you can go check that one out. That one is open. It's closer to you anyway, so definitely can go check that out. Is there a link to see this? Yeah, I'll put the link in the chat too. I know I just showed it on the screen, but I'll put that link in the chat and in the resources afterwards. So anybody who's wondering about that can dig in there. What else do we have? Oh, really quick, Stacy. Guess who arrived?
Well, Brian, better late than never. We were wondering where you were.
Putting you on the clock, bro.
I know, right? Don't you have those boxes unboxed yet?
Yep. Oh, I told her you're probably hanging the TV, so it's all good. But congratulations, y'all! Congratulations and welcome to Florida. We're excited to spend some time with you guys and get out on those beach days and have a good time. So, newest residents of what city, Stacy?
Sarasota.
That's right. Exciting stuff down there. So that's cool.
Minutes from Lakewood Ranch. They got a fabulous location.
Mm-hmm. Lakewood Ranch. Carol says trying out Pop Stroke. Pop Stroke is awesome. Yeah. Carol, make sure. All right, if you're going to the one in Wesley Chapel, is that where they're staying? Okay. Yeah. You're going to that location. Heed my warning. Go early. Unless it's super cool that day, you got to go early because that's out in a giant parking lot. That location is, and there's a little bit of shade on the northwest corner, but not much. All right, so if you're gonna get out there, get out early. The cool thing about Pop Stroke, Stacy, that I love is they've got the passes are all day.
Yes.
So and you can play all the time. And for those of you who aren't aware of what Pop Stroke is, since Carol brought it up, which I think is fantastic. Let's show everybody because this is like I love Pop Stroke. My daughter doesn't like putt at all. However, she likes going to Pop Stroke with the family. So, and I don't like putt either. I don't want to go like try to put balls in between pirate ships and I'm already not good at golf. I don't need any help being terrible. You know what I mean? Like making it work, but it's such a cool venue. So they actually have pretty good food. I would give it in terms of like an elevated bar food status is the way I would describe it. There are nice cocktails if you want that as well. You can get it delivered directly to the hole, not the food, but the cocktails, which is fantastic as well. There's, I think at least two. I think there's 3 courses, 2 for sure. Courses out there, plenty of service staff. There's like ping pong tables and a
playground,
cornhole boards. There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, and a tot lot for the kids to have a good time too. So this is great. You can order everything from the apps. This is what I really love, Stacy. Like when you're wrapping up your round of golf, you can already order your food, so it's ready when you're done. which is really, really cool. So I think you're going to have a great time, Carol. Pop Stroke's an awesome experience. For anybody who hasn't done it, strongly encourage you guys to go check that out. There is the Wesley Chapel location and then one at University Town Center Mall in Sarasota as well. So the cooks can go sneak over there too. And that one, the whole course is basically facing west. So go at night, because then you get to see just a gorgeous sunset. It's awesome. So yeah, that's great, Carol. Hope you have a blast. Let us know how it went.
Carol must be done unpacking if she's going to Pop Stroke.
Yeah. That is a fact. Stacy's busy moving everybody in. Does anybody notice the theme here? Does anyone notice the theme? Absolutely. Well, that's cool. That's a great location. Fun family time. I will say that for sure. Like I said, it's challenging enough to where it doesn't feel super, like, it's not like lame, but it's also easy enough where the kids can come, or a terrible golfer like myself and still get a hole in one every once in a while and have a good time doing it. So it's clean, nice, definitely worth checking out. So love it, love it, love it. Carol says, yeah, we're going to go early because we have to work in the afternoon. There you go. Well played. Well played, ma'am. All right, let's get into some other topics about what's going on. I want to talk about this Hollywood thing. We're going to talk about Hollywood, then we'll get into some real estate, and then we're going to talk some affordability stuff. But there's some really cool stuff happening here in Tampa Bay, which we definitely need to discuss. Let me find my article. I feel like I shut it down. Oh, no. All right. Usually I'm on it, y'all. Today I screwed it up, apparently. But let me pull this up. This is such a cool article. It's totally worth reading. There it is. I got it. All right. Okay. We got it. We up now, Stacy?
Yep, we got it.
Okay, perfect. All right. So here's what's going on. Tampa is emerging as a big film destination. This is the article. This came to us from our friends over at That's So Tampa. And if you guys haven't checked the magazine out, I strongly encourage you to do it. Andrew just does such a good job curating content. And I think he's a great writer too. He does a good job of keeping it simple, which people love, and just getting caught up to speed on what's going on out there. So, here's what's great. What's cooler than spotting a movie being filmed in Tampa, right? Like literally the only thing I can think of in my mind is seeing it in theaters this weekend, Stacy. That'd be pretty cool. You see something out of town, you always wonder when it's coming. And, I know there's been a few like Hallmark movies and things that have been recorded here, but basically since Cocoon's been filmed 40 years ago, we haven't heard a whole lot about Tampa and the film industry, but this is becoming a thing here, right? So What We Hide, that's the name of the movie. It's an indie flick shot right here. It's debuting at the Tampa Theater, the Greenlight Cinema, and a few others around the Bay. It's not just a one-off. Tampa's film scene has been blowing up, from Hallmark movies to festival favorites, and now training locals to work on set. And this is what I want to get into here. Film Tampa Bay just launched a free training program that helps production assistants. Okay. It's in partnership with the company called Stage 32. I'm not familiar with it, but if you're in the industry, I'm sure you probably are. And what they're trying to do is, and there's been a lot of movies filmed outside of Los Angeles in the last 5 years for sure. And over the last 10 years, Georgia was a huge hub. A lot of the Marvel movies got filmed there. But they're looking for new talent, and things are starting to slide in Georgia as well. And I sat down with people from Los Angeles who are moving here because of the film industry. So I thought that this was something worth bringing up. But who doesn't love a great film, right? Going to see a good movie and knowing that was filmed in your backyard, that's pretty cool. So I'm excited. I'm going to check out What We Hide. I won't get to go this weekend, but I'll definitely make it a point to see that film and support what's happening here local. But I just love stuff like this. And the fact that we got this going on here in the Tampa Bay area, I think is really, really cool. There's definitely some things that we're not used to seeing. I know when you mention the word Hollywood and Tampa, people get very uncomfortable together. But what I'll say is, Tampa Bay, St. Pete, the area is known for art, right? So like, in film is an art. So I love the fact that that's going to be an option coming to the area, and something that we could really, see help grow the community, grow jobs, dig stuff like that, right? So I'm a huge fan of that. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that that was a really cool thing happening here in Tampa Bay, which is awesome. Now, from really cool to 50-50 is where I'm going to go with this next one. Because, as you guys may or may not know, it's been a full 10 months, 10 full months, Stacy, since the hurricane swept through last year.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Right. And trust me, every time it rains, Kate and I sit here humming together. Like we have our moments, y'all. But it was an article that came out today in the Tampa Bay Business Journals about the Pinellas beaches and where they're at in their state of recovery, because we get asked this a lot. Right, Stacey? It's like, what's going on with the beaches? Right. And while we have been back on the beaches for 8 of the 10 months, at least, probably 9. What hasn't happened is not every business is recovered the same. Not every person has been able to recover in the same manner. And if you guys may or may not know that our house flooded last year, we shared the journey along with our entire community here. And it was a difficult thing to go through. Right. And like I said, we sit, and when every time it starts raining like crazy, it definitely is a quick reminder of how quickly you can be humbled. You know what I mean? And like the way you look at it. But there's some good news here that I want to share, and then kind of talk about some of the challenges, but also opportunities from those challenges, right? So one of the things that this article gets into is, 10 months ago, 5 feet of salt water surged through his brand new pizzeria on Clearwater Beach, leaving behind extensive damage. And the name of the company here was Bravo Pizza in Pastoria. Sorry. They reopened this spring in time to get going, which was great. So they got in, even though they were flooded out, Stacey, they were one of the early ones to get rebuilt over in Clearwater Beach, which is really cool. And he says it was a pretty difficult experience. Back-to-back hurricanes. And he says he's really grateful. And here's something that I highlighted in here earlier, right? Meanwhile, other restaurants along the coast are still in limbo, waiting for landlords to decide whether to rebuild or demolish or sell their properties at land value. And I'm sharing this with y'all because we get asked these questions, and you'll be driving down the beach and you'll see something beautiful. And, you pass a restaurant and it's packed out and everybody's doing their thing. And then 2 doors down, you can still see somebody who's not reopened yet. Or they're in limbo. They don't know if it's going to happen. So, the thing I want you guys to be aware of is as you start to come into the area this winter and this fall, because that's when people tend to come, right, Stacey? Like, we're going to start picking up here in November again. You're going to see some things, and you're going to see the good and the not so good. And that's the reality of where it's at. I would say that we're probably, if I had to give a guesstimate, and this is completely anecdotal, 65-70% recovery. That's where I would say. Okay. That's based upon my eyes driving down the coast, where I live outside of the areas here, just getting a sense of it. So I'm sharing that with y'all because not everybody gets to see those things on a daily basis, right? Now, since the storm, the 2-mile coastal city has issued, this is talking about Clearwater specifically. Madeira Beach. Madeira Beach. And I want to talk about permits because this is another question that we get asked quite often about this process. Like, well, hey, why can't I just buy a piece of land and build a house on it? Right? Or why can't I just buy a home that's been damaged, at land value essentially, and just replace it or repair it? Well, you can. Wow, this is not cooperating today. Sorry, y'all. Well, you can, but here's what I want you to know. Since the storm, the 2-mile-long coastal city in Madeira Beach has issued 2,884 permits, Stacey. That's both commercial and residential permits.
Wow.
5,224 have been requested.
Whoa.
Yeah. So just over 50% of the permits have been issued from the 5,200 that have been requested. So when you think about that, y'all, that's how many people are still waiting on an answer from the local government about repairing or replacing. Okay. And that's only one component. They also have to go back to their insurance after they get a green light. Right. So there's a lot of moving components in here. So that's the thing I want people to be aware of when we're looking at this, right? When in the article it says here, hundreds of demolition permits, both commercial and residential, have been filed through the Gulf Coast beach towns. 130 in St. Pete Beach, 160 in Madeira Beach. And it goes on later, and I won't get too far in the weeds here, but it goes on later to talk about, Stacy, that 2/3 of all the permits requested were residential. Mm. So the other 1/3 is and that makes sense. We don't even have 1/3 of the businesses, and most of the businesses are directly on the coast. Right. So they're gonna, that's gonna be a little bit heavy weighted there. And I'm sharing this with everybody because we get a lot of questions when we're on Zoom calls with people who are considering moving to the area, asking us about these areas. You start to see the real estate dips in St. Pete where people were buying the land, but we talked about it last week, or I'm sorry, 2 weeks ago. The numbers are coming up in Clearwater and in St. Pete, but they're up and down, and it looks like a jigsaw. Right? Rather than a steady climb, it's been up and down, all through the year. It's just been like that all through the year. So it's great to see it coming back together. Here's a shot right here, y'all. There was some really hard stuff. The Thunderbird is being completely tore down. Looks like they're going to try to salvage the original sign, Stacy, but the Thunderbird's going away, and that's been an icon. Mm-hmm. Right, the beach there when you come over the causeway, forever. You know what I mean? So like it's been tough on the community here, y'all. That's the reality of it. But with those challenges comes opportunity, right, Stacy? You're going to get an opportunity to do something different, and this is a good article. I think Florida housing market favors buyers as price drops in major cities. Now I'm going to let Stacy get into this here in a second. As we, kind of dig into this article a little bit, but I want to give you some highlights real quick. Florida's red hot housing market has cooled in one of the strongest buyers markets in the country, flipping the script for years of frenzied bidding wars. And we had a couple years of bidding wars. It wasn't years and years and years, but in Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, and Tampa, home values are falling. Inventory is lingering, and buyers are increasingly in control. Year over year values slid in July across Jacksonville, Miami, Orlando, and Tampa, where we were down 6.2%, while homes are sitting on the market longer than any other point in the past decade. Industrial analysts say the shift reflects the mix of overpriced listings, which we talk about all the time. We cannot stress that enough. Overpriced listings, slower sales, and fewer new homes coming online. It's a stark contrast from the Midwest and Northeast, where prices are still climbing. Now, I want to give you guys some context on this before we get into this, but the reality is Florida's market is definitely shifting. Oh, let me show you that chart at the bottom. Okay. Florida cities have 3 of the strongest buyers markets in the country, according to Zillow. Miami, Jacksonville, and Tampa, which are 1, 3, and 5 respectively. These are the hottest markets for home buyers in the country right now, the most opportunity. So I thought that was relevant and worth discussing for sure, showing you guys where the median home price here is in the United States right now. It's falling in. This is for a single family home, meaning not a condo or a townhome. Okay, or an apartment if you're in New York, call it what you guys will. But the median single family home in the United States right now is $466,000, $135,000. All right, so when you look at that, we got some opportunity here. Let me go back to Tampa proper. This is going to be Tampa, the city of Tampa, just so y'all know. City of Tampa sitting at $450,000, so about $15,000 under the median sales price there for a single family home, Stacy. And you guys can see it's just kind of flattened out, tailed off, but we were in this jigsaw all year round, like up and down and up and down and up and down the whole time. And you kind of flatten it out here, and it should slow down into September. That historically speaking, if we go back and look at it, look, it was down in September last year. If we go to September the year before, it was down. That's normal. That's cyclical. We should start to see that slide here a little bit, but there's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace as a whole. And that's what we're going to get into here real quick. I just want to give you guys 2 other perspectives since we talked about St. Petersburg in the last article, and the beach communities and what they look like right now. St. Pete, single family homes, 400,000. So almost 65,000 below the median sales price in the United States. That's where St. Pete is currently sitting for a single family home, right? down 4.8% last month. And then I'll do Clearwater last. And we'll kind of talk about this in some other articles too. But I really want to pick your brain about this because she's out there with clients every day. You know, they're writing offers, they're negotiating. I mean, we're going to talk about some of that stuff specifically, but here we are in Clearwater housing market right now. Single family homes in Clearwater as of today, 369,000. So almost a full $100,000 below the national median sales price is where you're at in Clearwater, down 15.9% year over year. Look at it, just tanked last month, right? So just coming straight down. Now, will it stay there? Probably not. Well, we know it won't, but you know, where's this going to go next? It'll probably bounce up based upon what we've been seeing all year. Up, down, up, down, up, down. This has been the path. That's what's happening there. But I want to have this conversation directly with you, Stacy, because again, you're out there writing offers for clients. You guys are out there seeing the incentives inside of the builders' offices. You're talking to the homeowners directly, negotiating roofs and buyer concessions and all these different opportunities. And I'll say this again. I'm going to explain this very quickly to everybody who's watching this, because yes, I'm in real estate. I'm not ashamed of that. Stacy's in real estate. We are unashamed, in case you are aware. We serve people. We help them accomplish a humongous life milestone, which is buying or selling a home. And we're proud of that. Okay. So I just want you guys to be aware. However, we are not in the business of convincing people to do something that doesn't make sense for them. So I want to start this conversation with everybody by just saying, like, hey, the best time to move for you is the best time to move for you. It's the right time to move for you, not when somebody tells you you should or shouldn't. The perspective I want to share with everybody is where do we think the market is headed? Where do we think interest rates are headed? Where are opportunities? Because we're having conversation with people who have the ability to move and are talking to us, and they're going, this Florida's on sale. This is what we've been waiting for. Right? It's time to go. And that is a reality, right? Because Stacy, I was doing the homework on this, and I'll pull the chart while we're working through this tonight. But I saw a study that showed the previous 5 decades in real estate. There was a downturn in real estate home values in one of each of the last 5 decades in the United States. Every one of those 5 downturns was followed by a recovery, right? Where prices went up.
Yeah.
Okay. So sharing that with y'all so we can just get into the real of this. But I want to talk to you about this because you're out there, right? You're out there swinging the sword on that, seeing what's going on in the marketplace. So talk to me about what you're seeing, like, most recently.
Yeah. Well, one thing I've noticed for sure is buyers are definitely taking their time. Whereas, you know, this time last year, you would have to make a decision pretty quickly within a couple of days. And the last couple of families I've worked with, I mean, they've been able to sit back and really do their research and make sure they were comfortable moving forward. But for resale, sellers are willing to negotiate on a lot of things, not just price, but on repairs. And then we can also be creative on concessions to help you buy down, you know, your interest rate to make it more affordable from a monthly perspective. So there's definitely a lot of wiggle room there. There's a lot more inventory on the market. So you have a lot more choices. And like I said, you have time to make your decision.
Yep.
Because there's just less competition.
And that's a great point. So when you say concessions, what does that mean? Like, can you help? Somebody may not be familiar with that term.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we use jargon in real estate, y'all. I'm so sorry. I can't help myself. Sometimes it just comes out so naturally. You know, those military families, Stacy, where they got those acronyms down, you know, like they're doing things stat and we're going to be up at dark 30. Like, I get it. That's a whole language, right? Well, we have one in real estate too, but what we love to do is break that down and make it as simple as possible. So a concession is what? Essentially, distilling it down, talk to me like I'm a 3rd grader.
When a seller gives you money at the closing table and you can either use it to pay for your closing cost, you can use it to buy down your interest rate, because you have to talk to a lender to get into all the details of that. But you can buy points to buy down your interest rate.
Yeah. And buying down your interest rate does what directly? That lowers what?
Your monthly payment.
That's important, right?
Yeah.
Right.
That's sometimes more important than that overall purchase price.
A lot of people, and the reason, Stacy, is a lot of people actually buy homes based upon the monthly payment, not the purchase price, right?
Right. But sometimes we forget that.
Yeah. Well, it's normal. You go out and you get a pre-approval for a mortgage, and they say, hey, you're good at X amount of dollars, $800,000, right? And that sounds great. But what we don't usually know is that mortgage interest rate is fluctuating on a daily, right? It's going up and down all the time. Show you guys what that looks like. So this is a screenshot, or I'm sorry, this is Mortgage News Daily, which this is a website for real estate nerds like myself, where we can look at what is happening with interest rates. Okay. And the interest rates right now, the blue line here is what's been happening with interest rates. Well, we've been trending down this year, which is excellent. But we're kind of hitting this roadblock right here that we don't want to really kind of fall under the 6.5 number where we're kind of hanging out. This is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage, meaning that if you got a mortgage, it's going to be on average, 6.56% every year, because it doesn't change for the next 30 years unless you pay it off earlier. Okay. But I wanted to make a note about this, Stacy. You remember last September when we got down to almost like it was 611? I was ready to refinance my house because y'all, we talked about this. I bought in when interest rates were up here, not this time, but the year before. I pay exactly 7.25 on my mortgage. And it got down to 7.1. And we were like, we got the call from the lender. We're like, let's do it. And the next day it bounced. And we're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Right. And then from that day, which was approximately 9/17, so the middle of last year, right, not September, to 3 weeks later, mortgage rates went up over 0.5%. So we're like, it doesn't make sense to do it. Doesn't make sense to do it. So we kind of held off. Now I'm bringing this to everybody because we don't have control over this. And what I want everybody to know right now is when the Federal Reserve is going to start talking about cutting rates here. Okay. The market is betting on the fact that the Federal Reserve is going to lower interest rates, but the Federal Reserve has control of the overnight rate, not the 30-year or most importantly, the 10-year treasury, which is what the mortgages basically follow. Okay. Now I'm sharing this with y'all because I'm looking at the data and I don't have confidence that this number is going to continue to slide at a real effective rate where things are going to get more affordable. Having said that, sellers are being forced into positions that they don't like, right? Which means they're going to have to do more things like give concessions. Now you're talking about cash concessions, right? Or monetary. But there are other types of concessions that can be made during a purchase agreement as well, right, Stacey? So what other types of concessions can a seller give to a home buyer or a potential home buyer who's looking to get in the home?
As far as repairs, that can always be a concession. If a house needs some work, like a new roof or an air conditioner, we've seen the water heaters come into play on these older homes. So they can give concessions there as well. Yep. They can pay for your agent's compensation. So that's been a concession. I would keep in mind though, for a resale, sellers aren't wanting to take $50,000 off their purchase price.
Yep.
So it's when we say that they're willing to negotiate, it's willing to negotiate, but being kind of creative in your offer.
Yep. Absolutely. So this is where we're trying to share some insights, right? So Stacey, you guys put an offer in yesterday. I saw the offer go out, right? And can you share, obviously we're not going to disclose the client's name, but can you share where you guys kind of came together as the buyer and seller in the negotiations that took place there?
Yeah, I mean, we came in low, probably I'd say $30K lower than what the purchase price was.
Yep.
Expecting them to counter. Obviously, it had been on the market for some time.
How many
They
days?
came, 96 days, I believe.
So 3 months. So longer than average, but
Yeah.
also that's for something that hasn't been completely renovated, which I'm guessing this hasn't.
It had some renovations, but not totally. Like they had updated the kitchen a little bit. Bathrooms needed redone. Still
Okay.
needed some work. The
Yep.
pool needed some work. But yeah, so we were able to kind of meet in the middle. We got a decent discount on the purchase price, and we did have to negotiate agent compensation on that one.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, the buyers were happy, very happy with what we got.
That's great. So that's not the only story, right? If I had to come on here with you guys and share the negotiations that are happening between, you know, the five of us here in Tampa that are selling real estate and the team of three we got back in Michigan, you would see a concession almost on every single property at this point. And this is where I really wanted to get at. You know, and I'm going to bring these numbers, Stacy, to the community here. Take a look back at the entire year. I think we're sitting somewhere around 60 or 70 home sales ish to this point. I'll have to go back and look at the number. But on that, I would bet that 90% of those gave something. And it was substantial.
Yeah. And if we're looking at new construction, that's a totally different story.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
that's been 110% actually.
They're just throwing money at you. It's just so crazy, the deals they're giving.
Yeah.
So
and let's talk about some of that, right? So like let's use one of our lovely families here as an example. We're not gonna name names, right? But there was a negotiation that took place at that mid-level price point. This is a tier 2 home builder, so we're talking they were asking somewhere around 900 for the property, right, Stacy?
Originally, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, 900.
And walk us through what transpired.
Well, we came in at me and the buyers talked for a long time, going back and forth about what to offer. We talked to the lender. We had them run numbers like crazy. The builder was offering, I'm trying to remember, I think it was $30K or maybe $20K in concessions, which is pretty typical of what we were seeing at that time.
Yep.
So, but they had a number in mind where they wanted to be. And in order to get to that monthly number, because there was an interest rate special on that, I can't remember exactly what it was. I think it was a 5.875. But to get to that, we had to ask for quite a bit off the purchase price. Like I'm talking over 100K on the purchase price. And they weren't sure. And I was just like, well, you don't know unless you ask. So let's just throw it out there. We knew the builder was motivated because it was a community that had just opened up. Like no one had closed on a property yet in there. And they were wanting to get people in there. So we threw the number out. We negotiated back and forth with the builder for a while. They were offering a compensation for agent bonus. You know, I gave up my bonus to try to make it work. And basically the builder came back and said, nope, this is what we're doing. This is all we can do. Buyers weren't comfortable with that and was like, okay, well, I guess we'll have to walk away because this is the number I want to stick to. So we stuck with that. And I actually went on vacation. And 2 days later, I get a phone call from the buyer saying, you won't believe this, but the builder just called me and said that they would honor our original offer. And I was just blown away. I was like, really?
Yeah. So let's recap it real quick. So the interest rates at that time were hovering above 7, just over, but they were just over 7% at that time. And y'all ended up with a 5.85 or something.
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
5.85, which on its own at the price points we're talking about right now, think of it. If you can get 100 grand off of something, it's not the starter home, right? And I don't want to disclose the purchase price here, but let's just say it was above 750. Okay, so good size purchase here, but to be able to negotiate to go from a purchase price that was over 900 to start with, they had backed off a couple times. Stacy, you went in there with them. You guys had a number in mind. You worked the deal between compensation moving around and concessions from the seller. We got them to that number, and they got a deal. Right? They got a great payment.
That's a crazy deal.
Yeah. And which is phenomenal. And we're sharing this with y'all because like this stuff is taking place in the market. And I know that people are anxious. And again, I'm not here to convince anyone. So hear me on this. But we're looking to invest in deals. And right now we're starting to see them take place at retail. That is the thing that's always been difficult, right? You got to go hunt down an off-market deal to really make numbers work. But we're really starting to see pushes back the other direction. And, a lot of the time, Stacy, like we hear it with our clients, they don't want to make offers that offend people. And no one wants to waste time either, right? So there's this yin and the yang of it. What I always tell clients, and I know Stacy does too, is like, I always tell them like, if you don't have to have the house, if you don't have to have the house, meaning like if you want it, don't screw it up and offend the seller.
Right.
Right. Don't screw that. Like we'll write what you're asking for. We're going to counsel against it. Right. We're your client, you're our clients, but like, we're going to give you our professional perspective, but those opportunities are there and a lot of dialogue is taking place, meaning negotiations. So don't be afraid of that. And I see people not pull the trigger and then they'll wait 2 or 3 days and then the property will actually sell. And they're like, dang, I wish I wrote an offer. Well, you can only get told no if you ask.
Right.
That's the first thing. Now, if you don't have to have the property, that's when you can throw those crazy numbers at people. Right.
Yeah,
Because you don't care.
Yeah. And I think that was one of the unusual situations. And this one was that they were okay with walking away. If they didn't get that number, then it wasn't meant to be for them. And they were okay with that.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't do that.
Yep.
So
and this isn't 2008, y'all. We're not talking about 50% off or nothing like that.
Yeah.
This was still a healthy chunk.
Yes.
From a percentage point, we're talking about 15%.
Yeah. And, this weekend I was able to get, we got 30,000 off purchase price on a 2-1 buy down. So we got 6% in concessions. They're getting 3.875 for the first year and 4.875 second year.
Wow.
With 30K off. And again, we went back and forth and he was like, this is my number. He's like, do you think we'll get it? I was like, I don't know. Let's just throw it out there. And we actually ended up going 5K less than what we had originally talked about.
Yep.
And they accepted it.
That's awesome.
I know.
And that's where this is the big thing, right? So like understanding that the two different markets that and this is why I wanted Stacy to share this with you guys, because like the new construction market, the home builders are starting to slowly stop building. Okay. So that is taking place. Trust me, y'all, they're not going to do this forever. They need to make a profit. They need to grow their companies. So we're in this window right now where it's this winter. It's seasonal anyways. They were already going to slow down. So we already know that inventory is going to start to tighten up over there. It has to. There's no way around it. They'll pack up and go build in the Midwest because they can sell new houses up there and they need them, right? So we'll start to see that inventory thin out. But in between now and then, the deals are fire, and you can walk away and go, I'll go across the street, right? Yep. To make it work. So keep that in mind. Now, on a resale home or a home that somebody's living in, again, get out of the jargon world, a previously owned home, somebody lives in this house, that's not as easy to do because there's a lot more nuance in those homes. Typically, you have a lot, most people are looking at things like that, Stacy, for educational purposes, specifically, or beach time, drive times, or walkability of a neighborhood. And like, that's where things can get a lot more nuanced. So that's when we, again, when you're dealing with a home that there is only one of, that's when you want to be a little bit more strategic, to say the least. Definitely more cautious and be more open with the seller if it's the one you want, right? But in the new construction, you're not having to do that as much. But there's some really, really good opportunities out there. And that's the big thing I wanted to bring to the community here. And if you guys want more information or you want to have a conversation with Stacy or myself about what is happening in our marketplace, go in the comments down below. I always forget to run the banner. I'm so bad at it. But you can also go text me that number on screen right there. That'll send you right to my phone. We love to help people buy and sell here in Florida. We've helped over 150 families relocate in the last 3.5 years alone. This young lady has been at my side for a majority of that time period. It's been excellent to have her there. And, as you can see, the community loves her too. You got Abby saying what a incredible advocate she is. I love that word, by the way. It's one of my favorite words. Advocate, right? We're advocating for him. I love that. And then she said, unpacking boxes while washing. We love you too. We love you too. That's fantastic. We're happy for you guys. So, these are the things that we want you to be aware of so you can jump on those opportunities, because the reality is, a lot of our clients choose to move here. We have our fair share that have to. What do I mean by that? Maybe they're maybe they're coming back to family, or they got relocated for a job, right? Those are requirements for some people. But a lot of our clients, they get to. They live in the Midwest or the Northeast, or they're in the Pac Northwest or in the West, but they may have a great remote job, or they're retired and this has always been their dream, or this is where they want their second home. They want a Gulf dream. And, we're blessed to serve those clients, and they get to take action, when not everybody can. So I appreciate the fact that we're able to serve people like that. But these are the times, man. Again, I'm looking daily at retail now, and I never did that before. I was only trying to work off market, but I'm looking at the new list every single day now, Stacy, going, okay, there's some opportunity here. And we're getting real close to the through line. September, historically speaking, in Tampa Bay is a very slow month for sales. So anybody who's been lingering, homeowners who've already been lingering on the market, they're going to start getting to that point where they're either going to have to pull it off and reset their game plan, or they're going to start liquidating. So that's something to really be aware of. We don't start getting busy again seasonally until after. It starts around Thanksgiving, but the reality is our phones turn back on. And when I mean turn on, I mean we'll do 60 Zoom appointments in January, right? Stacy's laughing.
Everyone's tired of the snow.
They want out of it. 60. Right now we're averaging somewhere between 15 and 30 a month. Those Zoom calls. We'll do 60 starting the 10th of January. So in a 21-day stretch, we'll do 60 appointments. It's been like clockwork. And we're sharing that with y'all because we don't know where the market's going to be. Okay. Keep your eyes peeled on interest rates. If we can get down below 6%, the market is really going to start to open up again. If we get down to 5.5s, I think we're going to have a really strong recovery. Okay. But I'm going to be honest. I don't see that in the next 3 to 5 months. Okay. Now that's based upon what I study. I'm not an economist. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. Do the research for yourself. Look at what's happening to the mortgage rates. Look at what's happening to the purchase prices. And if those things make sense for you to execute, pay attention. Okay. Pay attention. That's all I'm saying about that. So, Stacy, thank you for sharing, what you've been seeing in the market. And I love this. We don't talk enough about the success stories because sometimes I feel like we're sharing information about our clients, but as long as we don't mention their names and their addresses, I think we're good. So, and these are wins for our people. That's why I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad about doing what someone asked us to do on their behalf. Right. Which was, again, advocate was a word. So I don't feel bad about that ever. And I know this lady loves seeing the smile on your faces when y'all win. And it's a big deal. It's a big deal around here. We love seeing those wins for our clients. And, if you got questions about relocating to the area, hit us up, reach out. Happy to have those conversations. Here's what I will say though. We don't handle rentals for apartments. I know we get inquiries on that from time to time. They'll never make it to me. It usually just gets assigned to the agents if that's the request. But we can help with single family homes, condos, and townhomes. But we just want you guys to be aware. We don't ever talk about renting. And I know people ask questions, and they usually ask because they're afraid of making a misstep. And what we learned over the last 3.5 years is usually people who call us about moving and say, hey, we want to rent for a year, over half of them end up purchasing after they have that strategy call with Stacy and I. Over half of them. The other half, it's not that they ended up renting. About 20% of them never actually make the move. So there's that space in between where people do take a short, usually it's like a 1 or 2 month at Airbnb, or they'll try to do a 6-month at apartment, but a full year. Listen, man, you can move anywhere on this planet and learn about it in 3 months. I don't know why anybody would burn that kind of money to the ground. So if you got questions, y'all reach out. We're here to help answer those questions, and love hanging with you guys. I do want to get into that final article before, because I made that promise. So I want to get into that. All right, cool. Stacy, have you heard of Giggle Waters?
I have not.
You haven't heard of Giggle Waters? Okay, this is great. We need to go as a team. All right, so I'm gonna fix this. We're definitely gonna have a team night at Giggle Waters. But Giggle Waters is a restaurant in Safety Harbor. Technically, it's actually a speakeasy with a movie theater inside of it, which is so cool. And I'm going to show you what's going on here. But Brie Larson, who's a famous actress, gave a shout out. Gave a shout out to Giggle Waters on Instagram. She said, just discovered you and I'm obsessed. Right. So Academy Award winner Brie Larson is obsessed with Giggle Waters and Safety Harbor. Now, what is Giggle Waters? He's like, what are you talking about, Juan?
Yes, please tell us.
Understood. Yeah. So here's what's up with Giggle Waters. The popular spot combines a cozy 32-seat screening room with a lively cocktail bar and restaurant, offering an experience that blends entertainment, great food, craft drinks under one roof. I'll show you guys their website menu here. So here's some of the menu here. You got the Plain Jane, Truffle Shuffle, the Hendry, the PB&B, the Speak Cheesy, the Giggle Melt. These things are great. They've got Giggle Dogs named after movies. So the Reservoir Dog, which I think is great. The Coney, the Double Cross, Machete Dog, which is cool. The Lansky, the Mac Dog, the Big Cheese. I can go on and on and on, but I want to take you guys back to the beginning of the site here so you can kind of see it. It's a social club. And inside of this place, you've got a movie theater, man, a screening room where they'll do movies all the time. The ownership's great. They're always around. Kate and I have been in here before. It's been a really cool event. Let me pull up the movies that they have on deck, because I thought that this was great too. So here's the screenings that are coming up. And some of these are interactive as well, which I think is really, really cool. So on Friday, September 5th, they're playing Friday, which if you haven't seen that movie, shout out to you. You're missing something. Saturday, the 6th, you got American Pie. Grease is going on. It's a Grease sing-along, Stacy. So this is for my...
We can't see what you're showing, by the way.
My bad.
There you go.
So this is for enthusiasts, to say the least.
Oh, my goodness.
Right?
That would be fun.
A Grease sing-along. You got Swingers with Vince Vaughn and can't remember who the other guy is, Happy from Iron Man, but that's a hilarious movie. Ballerina, which is part of the John Wick series. Tombstone, which is one of my all-time favorites. The Greatest Showman sing-along. If you've got kids, you know this song, right? You got Beer Fest coming, Mamma Mia sing along, National Lampoon's Animal House, American Psycho's playing, Superman's coming, and then a Wicked sing along towards the end of the month there on the 28th. And then the Addams Family Cinema Super Series is coming on, and that's already been sold out. So I love businesses like this. And, again, if you haven't been to Giggle Waters in downtown Safety Harbor, you're missing out. Well, it's just west of downtown. But it's a great spot to go hang out. Go check out Giggle Waters, y'all. You will not be disappointed. I wanted to share that with everybody because it's just such a cool venue. And I think that Stacy just made it known that we are going to be doing that as a team meeting. So
yeah, well, I was thinking too, that'd be a really cool place to host our party, our community.
It's too small. Yeah, it's too small. Yeah. So you let the cat out of the bag. Let's do it. All right. We're already in the weeds now. All right. So here's what Stacy was referring to. We want to do 2 client appreciation events over the next 365 days. So I'm just going to share this with you now, and I'm going to proclaim this. We're already working on the back end, but we're going to do one here this fall, somewhere between September and October, I believe. Don't quote me on that. This is the thing that's getting me in trouble. But at some point before the end of the year, we are going to do a client appreciation event. I think we're going to do a movie theater. We're going to rent a movie theater, bring y'all in. Maybe we'll do a double feature that day. I have no idea. We'll do giveaways and have all the fun and just have a great time. I'm really looking forward to that. And then next spring, we are going to have a beach day. So the True Living Group will host a beach bash. We'll invite everybody down, feed them a whole bunch of smoked meat, and everybody can, the adults can have some high noons, and we can all burn together. It'll be a great time. Because everybody's skin will be nice and white from the winter. But I'm looking forward to it. Stacy brought it up because clearly she's looking forward to it. And if you're someone in our world, a past client who we have served or a client that we're currently working with, we're going to invite you in. Heck, send me a message, y'all. If you're going to be in town, send me a message. We'll figure out a way. All right. We'll make that happen. But we just need RSVPs for the movie theater for sure. Because there's seats and we got to get food and that kind of thing. But the beach, we can just go wild. We'll just be a bunch of Floridaing out there. So it'd be a great time.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be a good time. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. And now the cat's out of the bag. We got to fulfill. So we got to fulfill. Awesome. Well, I didn't see too many questions come in tonight. Here's the another thing that's happening here in the community. We are moving towards making a little bit more content for you guys. For those of you who watch our videos weekly, I'm going to be making a little bit of a shift in the content. I'm still going to do the same style videos that you're accustomed to here with the infotainment or the educational videos about the communities. But I'm also going to get back into these new construction developments because I really think there's a really good opportunity there for our clients. So starting next month, October, it might even happen before the end of this month, we're going to start launching one property tour a week in a featured community. That will start happening too. So you're probably going to start seeing Stacy's face back on camera a lot more, which I know you guys all want anyways. So this is a win-win. Okay. So win-win. So we'll bring you that content. Look out for the invites here coming up. The team's going to reach out to you guys once we lock down the dates. And again, thank you all for a few things, allowing us to hang out with you guys every Tuesday when we're in town, and also, choosing us to serve you and your families and help you on this journey. The fact that we're up over 150 families now is wild. Just to see, and heck, a third of them are Stacy's. So, so yeah, you're in good hands. And shout out to anybody that we didn't say. Sorry, I know I was bumping my gums as usual. So that's not on Stacy. I just want to check the notes here and see if we got to any questions. We missed them. John checked in tonight. Nando's in the house. Nando's checking in.
The eagle has landed.
Yeah, the Eagles has landed. I love that. John, this was when I was going through that. Sorry, buddy, I wasn't able to see this because I was looking at the other screen. But he says one day some people will pull their hair out for having missed opportunities to buy in Tampa Bay during this dip. Well, time will tell. But I am on your side just from the data, right? Not how I feel about it, from the data. So I agree with you, my man. I love that. Okay, cool. Who else was in here? Brian Cook says, "Let's go." Nando, thanks for your time. You're welcome, brother. You're welcome. And then Jen says, thanks for the information. You're welcome, Jen. Anytime. Like I said, you guys want to connect with us, just look in the description down below, or you can reach out to us directly at thattampalife.com. Schedule time to meet with me. Just if you want to talk to Stacy directly, just put it in the notes there and I'll make sure you guys get connected directly to her. And with that, every single week, go out
and live that Tampa life.